Okay, welcome back. So we were discussing about the rate law, and last lecture what we discussed about the differences between the how to get rate law elementary steps and the determination of the order and molecularity of the reaction. This lecture what we will talk about is that how to determine a rate law of a reaction. Determine a rate law. Okay. So definitely when we are trying to determine a rate law, so obviously we will talk about the experimental method. Okay. So this experimental method, what we talk about, we do is basically called isolation method. Called isolation method. It's called isolation method. What is this method? What we do in this method? Let's say you have a bimolecular reaction. Let's say, and the reaction is basically your A plus B to make products. Okay, A plus B you make products. Okay, now definitely in the rate equation the might be what in the rate equation it has to be true rate law is what true rate law. If we talk about the true rate law, which we can talk about, B is basically K concentration of A into concentration of B. This is a true rate law, has to be. Okay, this is a true rate law. Now this is, let's say, KR for little beautification, KR. Now dealing with two reactants at a time is very difficult task. So if you want to isolate one, if we isolate one and if we measure the concentration, if we check the concentration of another species with respect to time, then it will be easy to monitor, right? Okay. So what we can do, either A or B, we take in large excess. Let's assume here if your B is in large excess. What it means, when we are saying B in large excess, then we can assume that its concentration throughout the time of the reaction is constant. Its concentration throughout the time is constant. We can say that throughout the time its concentration is constant. Okay, throughout the time its concentration is constant. We can say. Now it's a very good approximation. It's a very good approximation. Okay, it's an approximation. It's an approximation. Okay, Acha. Then what we can do here? This since this is also a constant, this is also throughout the time is a constant. So if we modify the rate law, so what will be the modified version? V is equal to KR multiplied by B multiplied by A. So instead of writing this KR into B, we can write KR prime into A. Now this reaction, you can think that this power is 1, this power is 1. Okay, so this reaction is a second order reaction. But now this reaction, if I assume that A has power 1, you can think that reaction is forced into a first order form. You can say that the reaction is forced into first order form. Forced into the first order form from the second order. Okay, so it can be called as a pseudo first order rate law. Pseudo first order rate law. You can say that this is the pseudo first order rate law. Okay, now, but definitely we cannot do that, right? We cannot do that. So but we have to assume, put a order here definitely. So let's say the rate is basically generalized AR prime concentration of A to the power A, where A is the order. Okay. Now let's took a logarithm in both sides. Okay. This is V0. Okay. So log of V0 will be equal to log of KR prime plus A log of concentration of A. We can take that. Correct. Now if we plot the rate with respect to log A, okay, with respect to log A, if we plot this, okay, so what we will get? We can plot this log A, we can plot this log of A with respect to log of V0, we can plot. What we will get? This is a y equal to mx plus c kind of graph. So we will get an intercept from here. We will get an intercepted, right? So what this slope is what? This slope is basically A, which is nothing but the order of the reaction. And from the intercept, what you will get? You will get log of KR prime. And here, by calculating, by doing it KR prime, by reversing it, taking the anti-log, you will get the rate constant. So what this information you get? So from the slope of the graph, you get the order of the reaction, and from the intercept of the graph, you get the rate constant information. So this is the method, the way you can do experimentally. You get this data, rate versus concentration, you get this data, and this data you plot, and from the slopes and the intercept you calculate the corresponding order and the rate constant of the reaction. Let's look at one example. Of this reaction, this method. Very simple. This is a very simple method. Okay. Now, so what we know here, that we need the data. What data we need? We need the data of the concentration, and we need the data of the rate. Okay. Let's say a given experimental data. What is given? Okay. It is given that the initial your data, okay, the concentration I0, and your given rate of the reaction, that is the V0. Okay. Unit of I0 is given millimole decimeter minus 3, and the rate is given multiplied by 10 to the power minus 7. Multiplied by 10 to the power minus 7 means that much slow. The rate is that mole decimeter minus 3 second inverse. Okay. Achha. Now, what are the data it is given? Concentration is 5. This is 3.6. Okay. Then when your concentration is 8.2, then it is 9.6. Okay. When your concentration is 17, this is 41. Okay. And when concentration is 30, then it is 130. Okay. So this is the data given. So your concentration increases, then your rate also increases. Definitely. Okay. So what I will do? What I require? My mother equation was this one. Log of V0 equals to log of KR prime plus A log of concentration of A. This was the equation. And what I plotted this versus this. So basically I have to take the log of these data. So let's take log of I0 and let's take log of B0. You don't have to plot anything, just you have to calculate the data. If I calculate the log, it will be here 0.55, then this will give you 0.98, okay, this will give you 1.61, 1.61, and this will give you 2.11. Okay, and log of B0 will give you 0.69, and this will give you 0.91, this will give you 1.23, and this will give you 1.47. Okay, now what we will do here, what we have to calculate? We have to calculate the slope for a graph. For any graph. Let's say this is your x2, y2, and this is your x1, y1. For any graph, okay, slope is basically given by what? Is given by y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. For any graph, this is from the mathematics, you can calculate. So what you need to do, and here in this reaction the slope gives you the order of the reaction, right? So what we will do, we will just calculate the slope of the graph. Let's take the calculated the slope, and calculating the slope we will take any two data, but I would recommend you to take two consecutive data from the middle. So we will take two consecutive data from the middle, this part. We will take these two set of data. These two set of data. So what is the slope basically? Slope basically is here log of V0 at one point. Let's say this is point A, point B, point C, point D. So at point C minus log of V0 at point B divided by log of I0 at point C, and minus log of I0 at point B. Correct? So let's put the value. Let's see what happens. So this is what? 1.23. 1.23 minus 0.91 divided by 1.61 minus 0.98. So how much you will get? If you calculate this you will get 1.96. I think something is wrong. No, fine. You will get 1.96. 1.96, and that is approximately 2. That is approximately 2. I think some data is now. Okay. This is V0 value. I'm sorry. This is V0 value. This is I0 value. Okay. This is the I0 value. Okay. So, this will be 1.23. This will be 0.91. This is 0.98. And this is 1.61. Okay. This is I0 and V0. Okay, fine. So, if you calculate, you will get 1.96, and it is approximately 2. That means the order of the reaction is what? That means the order of the reaction is 2. So it is a second order kind. It follows the second order kinetics. It follows the second order kinetics. Now what about the slope? Sorry, what about the rate of the reaction? Okay. Let's say for the calculating the rate of the reaction, we can take any point. We can take any data. For calculation the rate of the reaction, we can take any data, and we already know the rate. So what we can take here, we can take, let's say, this value. Let's say 0.98. So what we can write, 0.98 is equal to log of Kr plus 2 multiplied by 0.91. Okay, so let's take it here, this side. So you will get log of Kr will be equal to 0.98 minus, where is my calculator? Okay, so you will get 2 multiplied by 0.91, this is 1.82. This is 1.82, and that will give you minus 0.98. That will give you 0.84 minus 0.84. So what is the KR from here? The rate constant is basically 10 to the power minus 0.84. 10 to the power minus 0.84, and that gives you minus 0.84, that gives you 0.1445. 0.1445. And what is the unit? Okay, and what is the unit? Rate constant. And unit of rate constant is decimeter cube. Okay, fine. So rate constant you got 0.11445. So this way you can calculate a rate of the reaction and the order of the reaction, and you can establish the rate law also. Okay. Acha. Now let me tell you one very interesting thing of a reaction. Very interesting thing of a reaction. Let's say you have a reaction and that reaction is a multi-step reaction. So it can be anything. It's a multi-step reaction. Okay. Now a simple reaction. Let's say A plus B gives you C and then give you D. So this is I. Okay. This reaction is basically followed by a formation of intermediate. Formation of intermediate. If you talk about it, reaction followed by a formation of an intermediate. Now, when I say intermediate, then this kind of reaction determining the rate law is very difficult. It's very difficult to determine the rate law. It's very difficult to determine the rate law. Okay, it is very difficult to determine the rate law of this kind of reactions. Then what we do? We can say that, okay, let's look at the graph. Look at the graph. So time and the concentration of the products and the reactants. So if you think that for the products, reactants, this will be the graph. For the reactants, okay. For the products, this will be the graph. But what about the intermediate? What about the intermediate? Intermediate, initially the rate will increase, but concentration. But after some time, their concentration will be constant. Now, when the middleman, the concentration of the middle part is constant, then we can easily monitor the formation of the product and the formation of the reactant and the depletion of the reactant. But in that case, your concentration of the intermediate has to be constant. Okay. So initial period. So after this interval, let's say when your intermediate is constant, after that you can easily calculate the rate give the rate of the reaction. Okay. Now what it gives you? Now what it tells you that it gives you that when the concentration of the intermediate, when the concentration of the intermediate, okay, rise from 0 to the major part of the reaction, rise from 0 to the major part of the reaction, 0 to the major part of the reaction, okay, then what happens? The rate changes, then the rate of the reaction, then the effect of this I on the rate of the reaction is negligible. Negligible. So what we can say from here, d of I by dt, since it is almost constant during the rest of the flow of the reaction, we can say now this is equal to 0 because some one constant part derivative of any constant is 0. So what we can write, that the concentration of the intermediate, rate of change of the concentration of the intermediate with respect to time is 0. That means this intermediate has no effect on the rate equation. Now what you can do, you can easily calculate the rate equation. Now this is a very good approximation, and this approximation is called known as steady state approximation. Steady state approximation or SSA. It's called SSA, steady state approximation. And this is a very fundamental approximation which is used by people when people deal with a complex reaction. These all the reaction are the simple reaction, but these kind of reactions where you have an intermediate also, let's say you have two different products. Okay, you have one product from two different reactants. In that complex reaction, these kind of things are very helpful. We will look at, there are some complex examples also in your book syllabus. We will look at them also. So these things, which is a steady state approximation where you assume that during the reaction course after a time intermediate, the formation of the intermediate, the rate of the reaction is negligible, the formation of effect. So you can say the rate of the formation of the intermediate is constant, is zero. Rate is zero, that is the concentration is constant, and that is called the steady state approximation. And this steady state approximation we use during the dealing when you deal with the complex reaction. We will look at this later. Okay, so this is all from your how to calculate the rate law experimentally and the steady state approximation. Next lecture, what we will talk about is about the integrated rate laws, that is the zeroth order kinetics, the first order kinetics, and the second order kinetics.